It's the 30th of November 2014, and I'm Jacob Kaufman with Nerd on the Street News. Alright, to kick it off this week, Yahoo will soon become the default search engine in Firefox. That's right, Google used to be the default search engine because everybody uses Google, but now it's going to be Yahoo. Once again, that is because Mozilla's contract with Google expired this year. For the past 10 years, Google has been paying Mozilla to make Google the default search engine in Firefox. Now that Google has its own web browser, it doesn't want to do that anymore. So now Yahoo is paying Mozilla. That's a good thing for Firefox users because even if you don't use Yahoo, Mozilla needs money because Mozilla doesn't make money any other way. They pretty much only make money off of this one contract. They make a little bit of money off of like Fire phones and whatever else they do, small projects. But yeah, they don't make any money off of Firefox inherently because it's free and obviously it's open source. So yeah, Mozilla needs someone paying them to make them the default search provider. A lot of people were hoping that DuckDuckGo would become the default search provider, but DuckDuckGo, or whoever makes DuckDuckGo, can't do that because they probably don't have the money for it. Because since DuckDuckGo does not track user data, they're not going to make any money off of tracking user data. So they don't have any money to pay Mozilla. But yeah, Yahoo will be the default search engine. You will still be able to select Google from the drop-down menu. Just click on the little Yahoo symbol in the search box, and then you can just go down and click Google, or you can click DuckDuckGo or whatever. I recommend using DuckDuckGo or Start Page or something that doesn't track you as much as Google does. But it would be a very bad thing if they removed Google from the browser altogether, because even though that would be a good thing because they would be removing their competitor from their browser, they kind of need to keep Google in there to keep people who use Google coming to the browser. You know, if you use Google and you're set on using Google, and you see, oh, Firefox doesn't come with Google pre-installed, you might just decide to use Chrome. But Google will still be pre-installed in Firefox if you want to select it, so if you use Google, you can still use Firefox too. Yahoo will just be the default search engine. It's worth mentioning that Yahoo is actually not its own search engine anymore. So this isn't going to be like the Yahoo search engine. Yahoo gets its search results from Bing. And so I guess now we're assuming that Bing no longer gets its search results from Google. But yeah, Yahoo has dismantled its entire search infrastructure, and it is now using Bing. So when you search Yahoo, it's going to perform a Bing search, then it's going to maybe recategorize the results, put them in a different order for you, and then it'll put it on a new theme. Yahoo Search will be getting a new theme, a new skin, next month, which would be tomorrow, and that is also when Yahoo will become the default search provider in Firefox. There's a preview image of what the new theme will look like, and it looks exactly like Google. It's not even, like, I'm not kidding. It looks exactly like Google. There's a Yahoo logo instead of a Google logo, and there's a little bit of purple thrown in rather than blue. But yeah, it looks a whole lot like Google. Even like the sidebar with your smart search results looks the same as Google. That's a good thing. DuckDuckGo looks really nice, it looks really clean, but I still miss the layout of Google search. So yeah, I think that Yahoo copying Google's skin is a really good idea because it's a good skin. People like that skin. Since Mozilla is a privacy-oriented browser, I know people can use DuckDuckGo or Start Page or whatever. It would be cool if Yahoo maybe did some privacy stuff itself, but then they wouldn't make any money because they wouldn't be collecting user data anymore. So I guess they're not going to. But yeah, Yahoo will be pre-installed in Firefox. That'll be interesting. So all this talk about the new search engine has gotten people wondering what's next for Firefox. When Google Chrome first launched, it was in an open beta, and it got super popular really quickly. And that was for a couple of reasons. First of all, Google was a big internet name even before Chrome was around. So people said, oh, Google makes the leading search engine. Now they're making a browser. That must be a good browser. Another reason why Google Chrome got so popular was because Firefox development actually wasn't happening very much when Google Chrome got released. There was a little bit of a drop in Firefox development, and it's been fixed now, but there was just a little dip in Firefox development right around the time when Google launched Chrome, so that really allowed Chrome to pick up speed as it was faster than Firefox for just like 6 months. Firefox is caught up, like I said, but now people are like, oh, Firefox, that's old, that's slow, it's got plugins and stuff. Firefox is the new Internet Explorer. I did not think that I would be able to use Firefox before I switched to it, and then one day I was like, you know, I bash Google so much for their privacy stuff, I might as well switch, and it's been relatively good to me. There are some problems with plugins that I have sometimes that I'll talk about in a later story today, but yeah, Firefox is not as major of a player anymore. Google Chrome is higher up in the hierarchy than Firefox is. And a lot of people using Windows use Internet Explorer because the new Internet Explorer actually doesn't suck. A lot of people using Mac just use Safari because Safari has never sucked. And more people using phones and tablets now are once again switching to other mobile-oriented browsers. Now, Firefox does have a mobile version that works alright, but it doesn't come built in, and that's a really valuable thing. Firefox does come built in Linux, so a lot of Linux users do use Firefox, but that's the only market it's really got a good foothold in. And a lot of distros are actually switching to Chrome and or Chromium for their built-in browser too, so that's disappearing as well. So yeah, what is the next stage of Firefox? Firefox is certainly not a failure. If it weren't for Firefox, we wouldn't have a lot of the web standards that we have today. The internet would not have advanced as far as it has today. Firefox provided a really great browser that got a lot of people using the internet, and it certainly sparked a lot of innovation for the internet. But what is its next step? Nobody knows. I don't have an answer to that. I wasn't gonna do a big reveal. No, this article is asking the question. People are just worrying that Mozilla won't be able to set standards now that their browser isn't leading the market anymore. But that's enough time spent on Mozilla. Now let's go back to Google. The European Parliament has called on a commission to consider breaking up search engines into multiple companies, and they're really targeting Google with this. Now, one of the reasons why Google is so easily able to completely destroy our privacy is because when we search with Google, it tracks everything we're searching, identifies that to us, we're searching that, and then it's got Gmail, so it looks in the contents of our emails and it tracks what we're talking about, and then it uses those things to target advertisements to us, advertisements that we're more likely to click on. And I do click on advertisements when I see things that I'm interested in, and I encourage you to do that too, because that's how content producers make their money, is through advertisement revenue. But it's really bad for privacy. Google's really building up huge databases of our information that can then be accessed by hackers and by the government. And honestly, I'm more concerned right now about the government than I am with hackers, and that means that either hackers aren't doing their job scaring me or the government's not doing their job securing me. So the European Union is talking about, should they force search engine companies to be separated from other companies? And there's a companion article on a different website that says US lawmakers don't want the European Union to break up Google. Obviously they don't, because Google is a US company. The bigger it gets, the better it is for the United States. And the more data it collects on people, the better it is for the NSA. So on the one hand, it doesn't seem like the European Union even has the authority to do that, because Google is a United States company. They could try and prohibit Google from doing things in their part of the world, but really that's just going to be a loss for them because they won't get new Google services. And on the other hand, I can see where they're coming from, because Google and companies like Google, like Microsoft with Bing and everything, those companies, those search engine plus everything else, but mostly our search engine companies, they are bad for privacy. It's funny, United States lawmakers say the resolution to dismantle Google would deter continued innovation and investment in US-based companies. Talking about deterring innovation, the FAA is setting drone rules that are going to do just that. The United States government is not one to support new technology at all. And it's really angering when you see them say, oh, you guys over in the European Union, you can't set those laws because that's going to stop innovation. And here the United States government is, they have set a blanket ban on using drones in the United States for commercial purposes. Now, this isn't going to be in effect forever. This is for 2 years while the FCC comes up with better rules for drones. All right. It takes you 2 years to come up with a set of rules. By the time you get done with those rules, we will already have moved on from drones. And for those 2 years, while you're figuring out what drones are and trying to figure out how to use your smartphone and trying to figure out how to get yourself on the internet and read emails, while you're figuring all of that out, you're just going to ban drones altogether? Once again, commercially, recreationally, you can go out and fly your drones, but Amazon's been trying to do drone delivery, and that would be really cool and really good for a lot of people, and it would really decrease shipping costs. And the FCC, instead of saying, okay, we'll just let you guys do whatever you want while we come up with rules, and that will give us some actual incentive to come up with rules quicker, No, they say we're going to take our sweet time and you guys just have to sit there and wait while we do it. Amazon has moved their drone research to the UK because the UK actually lets them fly drones. Similarly, Google, a United States company, opened up their drone research in Australia. Not in the United States, not where Google is headquartered, in Australia, because Australia actually lets people fly drones. So now we've got engineering jobs, we've got technician jobs, we've got all kinds of jobs that are opening up in the UK and Australia, not in the United States. And considering how much the United States government is pushing STEM education, it seems like they would want those jobs to be here. Completely unacceptable. The FCC needs to just stop it. The whole United States government needs to just stop it. The National Security Agency, you know, a lot of people say, oh, the NSA tracking, that doesn't affect me. You know what? It does affect you. Because now that a lot of consumers that are scared of the NSA are looking for privacy-based companies, they're looking for companies outside the United States. They say, oh, your servers are in the United States. You can get tapped by the NSA. Instead, I'm going to go to this company with their servers based in Europe. And that takes away companies from the US. It takes away jobs from the US. So even if you personally don't give a crap if the NSA is looking at your stuff, the NSA looking at everyone's stuff is still going to affect you. It's going to affect you economically. It's going to affect you technologically. Talk about deterring innovation. The United States government deters innovation. Huh. All right. I do have one story of the United States government not deterring innovation. Obama has signed into legislation a law that says e-labels are allowed for regulatory FCC legal text. So that's what this means. See, I've got my iPod here, and see on the back of my iPod, it's got the little FCC text at the very bottom. I don't know if you can see it in the camera or not, but you know, at the bottom of every iPod and the bottom of every iPhone, it's got that little legal text. And we don't need to see it every time we use our iPod. We just need to see it when we open the box. Really, I don't even need to see it when I open the box, but some people do. So yeah, that legal text in the past has always been required to be physically etched onto devices. Now device makers are actually allowed to put those labels on the screen of the device, so you can see it when you turn the device on for the first time, or when the device is booting up. You can see that FCC has approved this device, thank God, and it no longer has to be physically etched onto the outside of the device. And the reason why that was becoming a problem was because with phones and iPods and things, it was really easy to etch those onto the side, but now that we're doing things like Google Glass, like wearable tech, and smartwatches, it's getting harder and harder to find space to put that stuff on, to put that writing onto the side of things. So yeah, now you don't have to put those physically on the device, it can be on the screen. So that's what the United States government is doing for technology. And by the way, it's weird that this article says Obama signs legislation into effect, because Obama can't just sign laws into effect, he just has to approve them once they're already passed by the Congress. And even if he doesn't approve them, the Congress can still pass them with a 2/3 vote. This is interesting, this is really interesting. Both the House and the Senate passed this law unanimously. Do you know how many laws are passed unanimously? Every single person in both the House of Representatives and the Senate, no matter what party they were a part of, every single person voted yes on this law. That kind of tells you how much this law is common sense. Google has delayed the demise of old-style Chrome plugins. So there's this really old protocol for plugins called the Netscape Plugin Application Programming Interface, the NPAPI for short, and it was the plugin standard developed for Netscape, yeah, the 90s browser. It's been criticized for its lack of security, obviously, because we all know that the stereotypical virus-infested computer is going to have a lot of plugins. Google has been saying ever since September 2013, hey guys, we're going to stop supporting the NPAPI. They made their Pepper plugin API, also known as the PP API, and that's what Pepper Flash is made on. I think it's what the thing that supports Netflix on Linux is made on, so I'm in support of Pepper. But a lot of developers are saying, well, I already support the NPAPI, and Chrome supports that. Why would I port to Pepper? So trying to get developers to use their own programming language, Google has been saying they're going to phase out the NPAPI. Why is this an issue? Because Flash uses it, Java uses it. That's why it's an issue. You know, plugins don't matter. Normal plugins don't matter. But like your big couple of plugins, Flash, Java, I can't even think of a third one. Those are really the only two I care about. They use the older protocols, so that is presumably why the NPAPI will still be supported for another year or so. Yeah, September 2013, Google said, guys, by the end of 2014, next month, we will have completely wiped out older plugins. Earlier this year, they said, yeah, we're still gonna do that, probably. Now they have a new timeline. Chrome will stop supporting NPAPI plugins by default in April 2015. You will still be able to change a setting to re-enable them. And then in September 2015, you will no longer be able to use NPAPI plugins at all. So you either have to switch to Firefox, Opera, or Safari if you want NPAPI plugins, or you'll have to just start using only Pepper-based plugins, or other APIs that Chrome supports. I don't know if that's the only one. Yeah, Flash is really covered because Chrome comes with Pepper Flash, but even Chrome doesn't come with Pepper Java, so people using Chromium will have to worry about Flash and Java. People using Chrome will have to worry about Java. Not supporting Java is an issue. Of course, I'm sure Oracle will port Java to Pepper before then. If they don't, then hey, maybe Mozilla won't have to worry about the browser wars anymore. Speaking of Flash, last week there was a vulnerability in Flash that could allow attackers to install malware on users' computers. Last month, Adobe released a patch to fix that, but apparently that patch did not work properly, so they had to release another one just last Tuesday. Not sure why that was worthy of a news story. That happens all the time. And because I'm not sure why it was worthy of a news story, I'm not sure why I told you about it. Moving on. Last week, I told you guys that AT&T was pausing its fiber rollout due to net neutrality issues. AT&T's CEO is the one claiming that, and now other people in the company, spokespeople for the company, are saying, hang on, that's not actually happening. AT&T will not be pausing its fiber rollout. They still say the net neutrality rules will affect their investments in the future, but, you know, that's obviously not as strong as actually doing something about it right now. Now, it should be noted that AT&T is still under no legal obligation to complete these rollouts. They're just saying they're looking into rolling out fiber in the 100 cities that they listed. Let me check and see if St. Louis is one of them. Yes, St. Louis is one of them. All right, if AT&T rolls out fiber in my area, real actual fiber to the home, then my family will probably end up getting it. So that would be very cool. So hopefully they actually do that. Good to see that they're actually still doing that. Although, once again, we still need to worry about net neutrality. And I just realized I didn't have any stories about net neutrality this week. It's a nice, refreshing change. To end it off this week, there was a rocket that went up into space for a little bit before falling back down into Earth. It was manufactured in Brazil. Since the rocket was going into space and then returning, the researchers in charge of the rocket decided to grab some DNA, strap it to the outside of the rocket, and see what happened to it when it was in space. When the rocket came back down, the DNA was actually still usable. Now, I don't actually know how you're supposed to use DNA, but the DNA was able to be inserted into bacteria and provide the bacteria with antibiotic resistance. The DNA glowed green when placed into human cells, and there was only a handful of mutations in the DNA, which may or may not be a result of its time in space. So yeah, DNA might be tougher than we thought it would be, and why do we care about that? Well, because when we're sending off rockets to other planets, now we know that we want to make sure our DNA doesn't get on that so it doesn't mutate into aliens on other planets. Or we want to make sure that we don't get, like, bacteria on our rockets that we're sending to other planets because that could affect life on other planets if there ever was any. It's a practical use, believe me. That's just about everything I had to talk about this week. Actually, a pretty good-sized show. Remember, head on over to nerdonthestreet.com, check out our forums, and all of our other videos that we made this week. But for now, I'm Jacob Kaufman, I'm the Nerd on the Street, and I will see you guys later. See ya.